Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're gonna dip back in on Ubisoft and see how they're doing. It looks like they're doing fantastic. Their stock's doing so good.
Not that they were doing great before.
They were not doing good. No. So we're gonna talk about Ubisoft. We're gonna talk about them shutting down another studio after 22 years, and then we're gonna talk about investors demanding they renegotiate the Tencent subsidiary deal, and now they have legal proceedings. So it's looking great for them. Everything's fantastic. Everything's coming.
Everything's going just the way they wanted it to.
Right. It's just absolutely perfect. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You will get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo?
Yeah, we'll go with this first. This is coming from Insider Gaming. So this is new to me. I'm reading this for the first time. Investors demand Ubisoft to renegotiate Tencent subsidiary deal and initiate legal proceedings. Okay. So it said a minority shareholder and growing coalition of shareholders have issued an open letter to Ubisoft to initiate legal proceedings around the recently announced Ubisoft and Tencent subsidiary deal. So for those of you who don't know, Ubisoft is in a decimated state right now, and to save their asses, they're getting a huge cash infusion from Tencent, and they're going to basically create a new they're gonna create a new subsidiary of Ubisoft, which I believe eventually will replace the Ubisoft we know now. But what they're going to do is they're going to give all the important IP to that subsidiary that's co-run by Tencent. And I don't know what's going to happen to old Ubisoft. They're probably just going to let it rot. I don't know. They're saying, oh no, guys, this is going to be great for the future of Ubisoft. It's just a division. Everything is going to be fine. It's okay. It sounds to me like they're just taking whatever they have that's of value, which are their top IP, including Assassin's Creed and Rainbow Six, and moving them someplace else.
So the shareholders, basically what they're probably worried about is if you start another, okay, so you Ubisoft and you spin everything off, okay?
Right.
And you're going to call it, Tencent Soft or something, whatever. Dubisoft, okay? We'll say Dubisoft. And so that's a completely different company now because it's a different company name. Well, if you're a shareholder of, Ubisoft, but you're not, does that make you automatically a shareholder of the subsidiary? Because if not, then they could be like, wait, I have shares of this. You're taking all the good stuff and sending it to the other one that I have to become a shareholder of.
That my understanding, and again, they're not really being very forthcoming with.
No, they're not being clear.
Right, with the nuts and bolts of it. My understanding is it will be a separate company with its own stock. And
right. So it has. So if you're somebody who owns stock, which why you still own their stock, I have no idea. But let's say you own some stock there, and then they start a spinoff company. Your stock with all this stuff taken away is worthless, and then you have to go buy new stock in the new company that likely will end up going to Tencent after 10 years or so.
Yeah, I think this is basically just my personal feeling on this, because we've seen companies do this before, is they're getting rid of the crap that's not worth anything. They're keeping what is worth it, and then they're probably going to let the old Ubisoft just wither away.
But if you're a shareholder of the old Ubisoft, I can understand why you would be concerned.
Yeah.
That if there's a new company, if there's a subsidiary, if a subsidiary indicate that it's still part of the mother, or father company, parent company, it would be still part of the parent company, and you would still own stocks of that. But I don't know if it's going to do that, or they're just going to actually totally take everything good, spin it off into a completely different company, later on say, oh, it was subsidiary. Oh, now it's its own thing. Now your stock's worthless, which is probably why they're worried.
That's exactly why they're worried, because they're like, we don't see how this benefits us at all, because you're not being very clear as to what the long-term plan is for the subsidiary. They said in an open letter to Ubisoft, which was sent to Insider Gaming, the letter demands that Ubisoft hold an extraordinary general meeting to give shareholders the right to vote on the recent subsidiary deal. For those not in the know, an EGM is a special kind of meeting that's held outside the general annual meeting to discuss significant issues. Yeah, they basically said we're doing it, and that's it.
Right. This should have been gone through the shareholders to begin with.
The letter, which was sent by the minority shareholder AJ Investments, demands that shareholders can vote on two separate resolutions when it comes to Tencent's deal. Resolution 1 is to renegotiate the Tencent deal and have it restructured into a direct asset sale for no less than 4 billion euros, which is roughly the valuation already accepted by both Tencent and Ubisoft's board.
So basically sell it straight out to Tencent.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's we don't know. This is some three-card Monty that they're playing here. They're basically trying to have their cake and eat it too. And it's like, okay, well, the company's failing. Let's just take whatever we think we have that's worth something, separate it from that company, and then let the rest of it just, disappear.
So shareholders are worried that, if they get separated into a subsidiary, it becomes their own company, then what's the point for them? Because they'll have no money in it. Their money was with the leftover shit. So basically they want to make a new deal with Tencent where Tencent just buys it.
Yes.
Because shareholders have no clarity how the deal that was announced last week will eventually benefit shareholders. It won't.
It won't. I know what they're doing.
Parent company.
Yeah, because it's not like, we're going to just have a new division. They're not saying we're going to have a new division.
They said they said new company, like spun off into subsidiary.
It's a whole new company. This is like what Comcast is doing with the SpinCo or whatever, where they're basically taking a bunch of stuff that they don't want anymore and they're spinning it off into another company. I'm telling you, this is them letting the ship sink and just taking the lockbox full of valuables with them. The stuff they think that they can get some money out of, which would be Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, and I forget what the other one was. There's
if you want to be on a new ship, your ticket for the old ship doesn't count. You have to buy a brand new ticket. Yes. So they said resolution 2 would be a vote on the distribution of the extraordinary dividend. Basically, if they sell it, following that sale, if the shareholders vote for it, they shall return £23 per share in cash to shareholder, or euros to shareholders, totaling 3 billion euros, while preserving whatever that means. But basically, you have to sell Tencent, and here's how much you have to give our shareholders. Yeah,
they said the reason for extreme measures is shareholders are not sure if they're going to get any significant benefit. Because they're not being clear, and they're trying to make it like, I love the language too. And they sent the letter out to people, and they were all like, "Oh, this is going to be great for Ubisoft long-term, guys. Everything's going to be fantastic." And it turns out that like immediately they're like, "Yeah, we're going to start firing people, laying people off like this." This was just a couple days ago. Ubisoft Lemington has officially closed its doors, ending a 22-year history. So, another Ubisoft get shut down. I'm telling you, eventually Tencent is going to have control of the 3 or 4 things that Ubisoft owns that has any value whatsoever, and the rest of the company is going to freaking rot. They're just going to let it die.
Because they said that it was for 10 years, but then the way it was written was Tencent could basically buy everything then, or get control of it. So if I were somebody that was the stockholder, I'd be concerned too.
Yeah, because they're shutting things down. They're shutting down studios. They've already shut some down. I mean, they're trying to put the best face on a bad situation, but everybody knows this company is failing. This company is failing. This is the Hail Mary pass. We'll get Tencent involved. We'll get rid of our overhead. We'll get rid of everything that doesn't make money, and we'll take a handful of IP we have that we think we can get. Because even Assassin's Creed Shadows, it sold okay, I guess. It sold pretty okay, but they need to get that brand away from the people in charge of it now to make it sell better, right? And historically, it has had good sales. So this is the statement. Was this on LinkedIn? Yeah, one final message on LinkedIn. So after many incredible years, we want to share the news that Ubisoft Lemington has officially closed its doors. We're beyond grateful to our talented team, whose creativity, passion, and dedication have left a lasting mark on the games we've created, the memories we've shared, and the community we've built.
That you can wipe your butt with. So
yeah. As part of this transition, we'll be merging our account with Ubisoft Reflections, where you can continue to stay up to date with the latest news and developments from our UK team. For now, for those of you who are in and around Lemington, you'll still see our remaining team around town and at local industry events. Thank you for being part of our journey. So it was established back in 2002 as Freestyle Games. And people from Codemasters. Yeah, Codemasters was a UK developer. They did a lot of games for the NES and Genesis. And so they did B-Boy for Sony, which I've never played. And Buzz Junior Monster Rally. Oh, boy. No idea. But, like, look, they went around. It was one of these companies that went around and acquired a bunch of studios, and they got too big. They got too many, and now they have to cut back on. But we're going to see a lot of this. Especially, I mean, this it's not just Ubisoft, it's all these AAA studios. Like, it used to be that a gaming company, especially the AAA what is AAA now, but it used to be that they were like one company. They'd have a couple of divisions or whatever, but they didn't have like 95 different studios working under the same umbrella. It was like, oh, you have Square Enix or Squaresoft back in the day, and they had, you know, like an A team, a B team, a C team, and they would just kind of alternate and work on different titles, but wasn't like, oh, we've got Square France and Square Australia and Square this and Square that. It was like, because it's not sustainable, right? I mean, it's not sustainable when you consistently spend $300 million on a game and it loses $200 million.
It's just like Hollywood, same thing.
Yeah. So we're going to see all this stuff get pared down to the bare minimum. And I think, you know, not to be that guy, but I think AI is going to come in and that is going to cut down the need for so many people. You're still going to need people. You just won't need as many of them. So there we go. So they're doing fantastic, guys. And I actually agree with the shareholders because nobody knows what they're planning. I mean, I have a hunch what they're planning on doing.
They have not been clear at all.
No, and that's intentional. That's by design. They're not being clear because they're trying to spin it like it's a win. And really, they're just groveling to Tencent for money to save their asses. And everything else is going to wind up burning away, in my opinion. We're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Let's wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.